Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elise, aka The Pretty Nerd, and today we're going to talk about Will by Will Smith. Okay, we're going to attempt something new today. I am going to try and style my hair while I give you this review because I got to go to work in a little bit and I need to kill two birds with one stone. And should this go over well, we might be able to make this a thing. So I got this book from Sam's Club for $17.98 when the book was trending, pre-slap, pre-drama with Chris Rock and all of those things. There are 418 pages in this book, including credits and all of those things. Immediately when I saw the book, the first thing I thought was, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real. Now, if y'all know, y'all know. If you don't, go look up No Role Models by J. Cole. But that was what I thought initially. I've always been a fan of Will Smith. So listening to his music, watching his movies, growing up watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, getting this book was a no-brainer for me. Okay, so jumping right on into this review, the book starts out with Will Smith discussing a very formative point in his life, like building a wall with his brother for his father at a shop or business that his father owned. And I remember Will saying something like, we spent a whole year building this wall and it never seemed like it was going to end, and we were getting discouraged about how long it was taking. We spent our whole summer on this. We didn't have really any great summer experiences during this time, and I remember Will's father saying something to Will that stuck with me. Will's father told Will, stop paying attention to the wall and start paying attention to the bricks. Right? And then Will follows that up with a question in the book, and he says, are you paying attention to the wall or are you paying attention to the bricks? And that humbled me in a moment, right? Because when we pay attention to the wall, we are overwhelmed with its entirety, with what is supposed to happen and what we are supposed to do and what we're looking to accomplish or whatever. But when we pay attention to the bricks, we realize that we have everything we need in that moment to achieve what we're trying to do. So bricks are a representation of small steps. The wall is a representation of a complete project. So I'm asking you, like he asked me, are you paying attention to the wall or are you paying attention to the bricks? And at this point in my life, I have determined that I want to pay attention to the bricks, because once I pay attention to the bricks, before I know it, the wall has been built, right? And I can move on and move on to the next wall with the next set of bricks. That was one of the best parts of the book, in my opinion. I was sold at that point, like, okay, he got me. He about to be on to something here. He then goes on to detail his childhood, how his father was abusive to his mother, and what that did for him and how that shaped his life. His father was abusive and what that did to him and how that shaped him growing up, and what it taught him was that performative action was his way of securing love. If he performs well, he takes his mind and the mind of those he loves off of what's happening around them, and thus he can procure their safety. He can make sure that they're safe. Nobody's being abused, nobody's being hurt, or whatever the case may be. So he carried that thought process with him his entire life, right? Which caused him to go from relationship to relationship. And what it taught me is that you will remain the age you are when trauma meets you. Emotionally, when you meet trauma, you are still that age unless you heal it. So if I was 13 when something happened to me dramatic, like my father had a brain hemorrhage when I was 14, for a long time, emotionally, I was still a 14-year-old girl, right? Because that trauma was so severe and so significant, it had me in a chokehold. So emotionally, I stayed at that age. And the same thing happened to Will. He became a grown man who emotionally was still a little boy who equated his worth and his value to performative action to secure validation and love and appreciation from those he loved. And so that was crazy to me, right? And I learned, like, if you don't heal your trauma, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. Not only that, but you will also create and perpetuate trauma in the people who you consider to love lives, thus making them stop growing emotionally at whatever age that trauma that you've inflicted on them has met them. You see how crazy that is? So we all have to, like, do our best to, like, heal our trauma and be in touch with what has hurt us and what has stopped us from growing the way we need to. That was another great part of the book. Following that, he talks about how he got healing. He went and did all these, like, rituals and stuff. I can't get into all of that because it wasn't for me. But how that had changed his life. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm trying to figure out my hair. How that had changed his life, and then he learned how beautiful he was in doing so. And how free he felt after that. And how his identity was no longer wrapped up in who somebody else thought he was supposed to be, or how he was supposed to perform, or to what level and what height it needed to happen in order for him to feel successful and feel valuable and all of those things. And so that spoke to me in the way that shows everybody, or could show everybody, that once you find healing and seek healing through therapy or God or whoever you decide that you need to seek therapy from, maybe it's your friends or your family or whoever, once you are free from that trauma, you are really living. You are really loving. You are really on the way to being who you are supposed to be. And then you can love other people properly, the way God intended for you to love them. As well as love yourself. Because can you effectively love somebody else if you don't love you? One could argue no. But I digress. And in doing so, he was able to foster a relationship with his father that he didn't have to feel bad about when his father passed. The book is, overall, this is going to be a very short review because I only picked up a couple of nuggets out of the book that I want to share. I think that everybody should get the book, though. In doing so, healing helped him foster a relationship with his father that he felt comfortable with, that he didn't have to regret not having when his father passed. It allowed him to love freely and experience love freely and judge himself less harshly. It allowed him to participate in his career and his family on a human level without holding himself to a standard that's unobtainable and ridiculous. Overall, what I got from the book, what I think most people will get from the book, is that this biography was the story of perseverance. You know what I mean? Coming from a abusive household, not being the most popular kid in school, having to find your way through rap and then like going into acting. I don't want to give too much of the book because I want y'all to read it. It was a true testament of perseverance over pain, over disappointment, over self-hate, over a whole host of things, and how once you persevere over those things, you can gain acceptance and love and validation, not only from yourself but from other people. And that is the true key to success, both inward and outward, is to be okay with yourself, love yourself enough despite who don't love you. Know that you don't have to perform or show up any way that isn't you in order for people just to love you or like you or tolerate you. And in doing so and living your truth and being who you are organically, success will come. Your version of success, not the world's or your parents or whatever. Your version of success will find you. Only though when you are completely okay with who you are. Will you be okay with the success you have achieved and not feel like you need to do more or be more or show up more or whatever? Once you are who you are genuinely, success will meet you in a way that it has never met you, and you will be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor without all the extra stuff. I think that everybody should read it, not, based on just Will's life. I mean, if you are a fan of Will, I think that you should read it for, that nostalgia purposes. Most of us grew up with him. So that is great. But just to see that other people are overcoming lots of things that we all have, and those who we know and would have never expected to have grown up with some of the things that they have overcome, seeing them do so could, inspire you if that situation or their situation resonates with you in whatever way it does. So I hope you all read the book. I hope you all enjoyed this review. Thank you for your time and for letting me share my thoughts and opinions with you. For those of you who will ask, I am using the Mono's Hair collection to style my hair in my own hair oil that I make from scratch. If you would like to know more about that, follow me on Instagram at @theprettynerd_ and message me there, and I can get the information to you. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Y'all take care. I just wanted to come back and show y'all the picture or the video of my hair now that I have styled all 4 sides. I have not diffused yet. I will let it dry a little bit before I diffuse. But yep, I just wanted to show y'all what I'm looking like at the moment. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.